What is good, everybody? What is good? Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope you're making your dreams come true and all that. Make sure that you hit me up, and if you have any questions, hit me in the email. Make sure that you are subscribed, sharing the videos, liking the videos, and all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. So I had a conversation the other day, not too long ago, where I go get my some lunch from. Having a conversation with this lady. And this is going to be a topic I've obviously covered before, but I had a conversation with the lady who owned the place, and she was telling me about her time. She was doing some work at a college. I think she was an adjunct professor, but her main work was something secretarial, I should say. Something helping students get acclimated. One of those student advisor type things. I don't remember specifically what her title was, but eventually she became burnt out with that, and she was overweight. Her health was declining, mental health was declining, and she said, I forget this. I got to do what I want to do and present myself in a different way. Do something differently. And so she ended up, quitting the job and started a business she got into health and healthy eating, working out, dropped a ton of weight, and opened up her own health food spot, which is where I get my stuff. And now she's trying to branch out and open up her second spot. So I guess what I'm saying to that is make sure that your work-life balance and your health, mental health, and all that is in line, and that you're doing what you want to do and making the moves that you want to make. That was a great story to me because it showed me that she recognized that her work-life balance was out of whack. She's working working in a place which was mentally toxic for whatever reason. She couldn't deal with it anymore. Health was declining, mental health was declining, and these are words that came out of her mouth. And so eventually, she just said, "Forget it. I'm going to get myself together, get my health together, and I'm going to, open up a business." And I advocate for that so much. And I told my story about how I just, I had a good job. After I got my degree, they offered me a great job at a university. And if I was a younger guy, I definitely would have stayed there. But at the place I am in my life today, I've talked about playing the game and playing the game, to move up the corporate chain. And they'll tell you that when you're at these different jobs, that if you want to move up the chain, you gotta fit in. You got to do this. You got to do that in order to move up the chain. So this lady said, "I don't want to do that anymore." I said, "I don't want to do that anymore." We got to get to this place, and I'm advocating for this for younger people. And I think that younger people are catching on to this. My grandfather, and my grandmother, and even Generation X, they worked for their entire lives. From the time they're 16, 17, and they don't retire until they're 65, working at a plant, factory, in a mine, on the docks, doing whatever, and then retire, and then within years upon retirement end up passing away. So I think a new generation, and I applaud them for this, are saying, "Nah, forget that. My work-life balance is more important to me." There's a big problem within law enforcement, becoming corrections officers, state troopers, police officers, etc. People just don't want to do that anymore. They don't want to work. They don't want to work all these different hours. They don't want to do that. They don't want to work overtime. They don't want to do anything like that, right? Because they just value their life and their ability to have freedom so much more. And I think with the presidential administration, and the way that the global economics are working, is that people just don't want something differently than just slaving away inside of an air-conditioned office building. And I can remember, again, I appreciate this opportunity, but going from a retired guy who had all his freedom, taking a trip when he wanted, a vacation when he wanted, took a nap when he wanted, to walking into a place and then saying, hey, here's your cubicle. That was so mentally confining to me. I couldn't do it for long, right? I couldn't do it for long, and I had become ruined. To quote Frederick Douglass, I was no longer, or to cite him, I should say, I was no longer apt to be in this place, in this mental space, once you have this certain level of freedom. A lot of people may not be able to understand that, So I'm saying to you, keep your work life balance in order. That means, you work whatever's required of you, all the while, as I've talked about other times, planning your escape, plotting your escape to become the best version of yourself, in order to establish a business, to work on your dreams, your desires, your aspiration, to work on your family, to work on your family. And I think that this is such a big deal. This is such a big deal that, to your own physical health, right? Because if you're working all these different hours, overtime and all this kind of stuff, you're working 10, 12, 16 hours a day, and you're not packing your own lunch, and if you're not making up time to making up time to exercise, then you're going to have issues, right? And then there's always this thing about tricking yourself into acclimating into that environment, right? So now they have these standing up desks, so you don't have to stand. I tell you to stand when you're on phone calls and all that kind of stuff. All this is important, right? And you should be taking the steps, just taking the stairs, walking, parking farther away, and all this to get your exercise, because it's important, because we are not designed as human beings to be sitting in cubicles all day, or sitting in offices all day, or sitting in meetings for hours at a time, right? We're not designed to do that. We're designed to be active and to be in motion. If you don't use it, then you'll lose it, right? You'll lose your muscle. You'll lose your bones will become more brittle because you're not working out or working as much. So your work-life balance is extremely important. And I really want you all to understand that concept, that while you're in this place where you are, and while you're working on your degree, and while you're working on your certification, and while you're working your way up the corporate ladder, that you still have to take care of your health and your mental health. Those are two very important things. And of course, your work-life balance is extremely important as far as making sure that you are making the meetings and making the things that are going on with your children. You don't ever want to look back. You don't ever want to look back and see pictures of your children at their piano recitals or whatever, sporting events, their trophies, and recognize that you weren't there for the vast majority of them. I think that is absolutely terrible and horrible way to live. So you ought to do what it takes and do what you can to make sure that you are part of your children's life to the greatest degree possible. And that's work-life balance. Work-life balance will cause you to do what it takes to save your relationship. So many times in the police department, I was thinking about this in conjunction with the lady I told you about, who was working in the collegiate atmosphere. She, in the police department, right? In order to move up the corporate chain, and here's the rub to all of this. In order to move up the corporate chain, whether it's in finance, whether it's in business, whether it's whatever, you have to present yourself in this way and in this manner that says, that you're a part of the team, and that the organization comes first. You join an organization, they want to know that you're the first one in the door and you're the last one to leave, right? There's this competition that goes on, right? Who's the first one to leave and all this kind of stuff. And in the police departments also do this type of thing, where they would call us. They would call us. I would get calls at 8:00 at night, all these different times, right? You got to come in and do this. Calling people on the weekends, calling people. If I was a midnight shift commander for a little bit, calling me up at 10 o'clock in the morning. What happened with this call last night? And right, interrupting my sleep. So this constantly being on edge. And if you join a special operations, and what I'm saying goes across the board, again, not only to this particular world, but to the corporate world too, right? The public sector to the corporate sector as well. Business, finance, attorneys, whatever. You got to be on this thing, handling this thing all the time. I talked about this in the alpha videos, right? Alphas are busy a lot. They're busy. And, you got to go to different events, parties, funerals. You have to rub elbows with these people. And a lot of times people don't want to play that game, right? After a while, I don't want to play that game. I don't want to play this political game anymore. And this is me. But I am saying that if you're going to move up the corporate chain, you're going to have to, if you want to move up the corporate chain and you want to achieve that thing, promotion, acceptance, whatever, you have to play that. There's no way around it. You have to play the game. There's no way around it. You have to play the game. So it's hard to have that work-life balance when you haven't played that game. But again, that work-life balance, when it's out of whack, causes divorce, causes cheating, causes all manners of infidelity, causes drinking, causes pain. Your children are missing you. You're missing your children's events. So you can miss a lot. And again, as I was saying about these functions in order to move up, right? So a lot of times they would call us, okay, you're a part of this task force about drug apprehension or whatever, but we got this thing going on. We need somebody to kick in the doors to go get this person. And again, take what I'm saying and apply it to your sphere, your sector, right? You could be a forklift operator. If all the other forklift operators are out and they got this big shipment that comes in and we need somebody to do it, and can you do it? And it's a Saturday and you got your kid's game, you got a decision to make. And if you want to make manager, you got to come in. This is the way the world works. This is the way the world works. This is the way capitalism works. This is the way, things get done, And so you got to come in. You got to take the time out of your kid's life, your busy schedule, to do that. And I think that there's a new generation of adults who are saying, I'm not going to do that, because I know what it felt like to not have my dad around, my mom around when I had these events, and I'm not going to do that to my kids. So I think that there's a difference in that. But again, the thing has to get done. So you wonder why a lot of times these people just want to ship other persons into the country, or allow them to come in the country. But there's obviously some reversals going on about that, but that's why they were doing it, because they needed capitalism comes first. We all enjoy when Amazon delivers our packages within the next day. we all enjoy it, but there's a cost to that. There's a cost to that: financial cost, social cost, familial cost. There's a cost to it. Somebody's got to do it. I've had packages dropped off at 8 o'clock at night. What does that do to the guy's family? I've had packages. I ordered a package one time at 8 o'clock at night. They told me it'll be there at 4:30 in the morning. Somebody's got to work that. Somebody's got to do it. I just hope, and a lot of times, people call out. They get sick. They get mentally sick. They need mental health days and all this kind of stuff. Their grandmother gets sick. Somebody gets sick. Their kid gets sick. So they make other people stay, right? They got this 24-hour clock beehive going on in these corporations in order to get you your package. So they want you, the customer, to be happy. All of this got to think about, right? So, but again, what is the cost what is the ending result cost to your personal satisfaction, your life, your health, and your strength, your mental vitality, your mental stability, and all that, right? And to your children's going through all that. Again, I saw it so many times in the PD. We were guys who thought they were doing good. They would work all night. They would work all night with us. Work all night. Then, at the end of the night, working what we would call an extra duty job. And that was a side road job. You'll see these cops working the side of the road. Those are side gigs, right? They could be home with their family, home sleeping, home doing something else, but they're choosing to do that in order to get money. And sometimes the payoff is good, as far as the money in your pocket now. And sometimes in some departments it will boost up your retirement and all that kind of stuff. But what is the cost to that as far as family? Are their families together? Do they have a relationship with their kids? Do they talk to their kids? Do their kids talk to them? As I make this, we just watched the Super Bowl last night, and there was a comment that was given to me saying, I appreciate the fact that your kids want to come over. The Super Bowl is at my house. My kids come to my house. So I think I made the right decision as far as helping them to become well-adjusted adults. So they're happy, they're healthy, thinking clearly, and all that. So I want to drop that into to us, to help to fix the family, 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 because I think that is an important aspect that we have long overlooked. The results and the mindset of the family and what that does and what we should be doing and where we're going and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to drop this quick video here to tell you to watch your work-life balance. As the young lady I told you about who now opened up her own spot, who she's obviously had gone through school, educated. I don't know her full extent of her background, but she's working in the collegiate atmosphere. Said she quit it, and now had opened up her own spot, lost some weight, and was mentally better. She's always smiling, happy. This is her stuff. She opened up this place and said, "This is my stuff. I'm taking control of my life." And when you do that type of thing, man, I think that there's a certain amount of pride that you should have about taking control of that, And when you enter into somebody else's space, as when I entered into the police department and when I entered the college space, and somebody gives me, they give me your stuff and that they can always take back and put you in a cubicle and this and that. We gotta learn to take control of our own space, and this is very important for African American people, because I'm going through, reading some stuff right now about our history and all that, and we have had so much taken from us, and to try to establish our own set of independence is important. Is important. So I just want to drop that here and get your thoughts and your opinions. If you haven't been thinking this way, then I think you ought to start thinking this way. And I was watching some other ladies too, some other YouTubers, small YouTubers, like myself, but are starting off, and they talk about their time and their business and what they were trying to do and this, that, and the other, and they're just so happy to be out of the corporate world. A lot of times, there's a couple of doctors and lawyers that I've seen. Who have started their own YouTube channels, and don't want to, are trying to get away from that corporate entity anymore, and just trying to make their own way, just make some videos and let's just talk, and trying to monetize themselves like that. It's going to take them a while to build up what they were bringing in as far as revenue or the other thing, but this is what people are doing, because they're recognizing that this slaving away on slaving away at the corporate office. It's just not the way. But that's what capitalism is. It's always been that way. From the indentured servants who were brought over here from England, to the Spanish who the conquistadors, put the natives of this land into the mines until they literally worked them to death, to the Africans who were over here. It's always been about profit and all that kind of stuff, and there was no work-life balance. This is a new concept and a new idea, and now the people today are like, I'm not doing all that, right? I saw what my grandfathers did. I saw that these people died early. I saw that they were, worked away all this, and sometimes if you didn't have a good, strong union or whatever, right, you worked for your pension, and if it was in some stock portfolio or something, you're gonna have it all wiped out. Now people want to take full advantage of their life and their time and all that kind of stuff. So make sure that you're doing your best to take care of your life, your work-life balance. That means you go to work, you do what's required of you, and probably no more. We used to call it 8 and skate. You do your 8 hours and skate out the door. Some people just live like that. Make sure that you enjoy your kids, you talk to your kids, you read to your kids, you're around your kids, your kids are around you, that you love your kids, they love you, you have conversations with them, enjoy your family, enjoy your wife, enjoy your mother, enjoy your dad, enjoy your cousins, enjoy family functions outside of the big 3 or 4 that people do. It's usually, Christmas, Thanksgiving, sometimes it's New Year, sometimes it's Memorial Day, July 4th, some birthdays and stuff. Well, that's probably like 5 or 6, right? Those things, just try to get together for some game nights and stuff. Just have a good work-life balance. Just have a time to we just get together, cook out for no reason, just cooking out just because we can, And if your job is calling you to come in and do stuff, and that was I started to talk about that. That was something that really bothered me. because we would have some things. I'm speaking police department wise. That was the bulk majority, right? We would have some things going on, and it was some heavy stuff. Obviously, we got to go get this person, right? And so we need these people. And obviously, if you sign up to be a member of the SWAT team, that's what you're signing up for. But a lot of these other times, if you're off, right, the gang task force and other task force and stuff, we would be calling people up. Listen, we gotta go get this person. We got some information about this. We want to go surveil this and this and that. We got to do it now. You're stopping people from enjoying their day off, or whether it's a Saturday, Sunday, or even if they're off on a Monday, whatever time is off, you got to call them up, and that creates such a rift. We watch TV a lot of times, and these guys are there all the time, and the cops are always thinking about this, and they can't go home, and if they're getting off shift, and never mind they never wrote a report, but they're getting off shift, and they go sit in surveillance because they got to go catch this guy. That type of mentality, which exists in corporate America as well, right? You're never taking a day off. You're always thinking about stocks and trades and all that kind of stuff, whatever you're doing. That type of mentality will have you with sucking down antacids and not getting enough sleep and rest, and causing all the other somatic issues, or bodily issues. So you gotta watch all that. You gotta watch all that. So I can remember, I get phone calls a lot of times. When I work for lawyers and stuff, they call me 8 o'clock at night. I get calls at 8 o'clock at night, and East Coast time, right? I'm in the East Coast, they're in the East Coast, right? I got a call, from Maryland, Virginia, East Coast, calling me 8 o'clock at night. Oh, I got this case coming up. It's 8 o'clock. Why aren't you home? But this is what goes on, right? They got to prepare. You got to stay on top of it. So, and they're doing so much during the day that they got to catch up with their paperwork and make sure all their other ducks in a row, during the day. So I'm just telling you to watch your work-life balance and make sure that you're, making the most out of your life. That's it. Much love and peace. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Make sure you hit the like button. Much love and peace.